If you think dropshipping is going to make you $10,000 in your first month, I need to be honest with you right now, because what I'm about to tell you is probably going to disappoint some people that are watching this video. But if you're serious about building real online income and not just chasing some fantasy, then this might be the most important video you actually watch. I've mentored over 4,000 students, and these students have gone from complete beginners to generating their first sales, and then their first 1K days, and then they went to building consistent income. And the ones who succeed all understand these 5 realities before they started. Because I realized that everyone's telling the dream, but nobody's telling you about the actual harsh realities. So what we're gonna do is fix that. By the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what to expect, how long things actually take, and why knowing these brutal truths make you way more likely to succeed than basically 95% of people who start dropshipping. So here's reality number 1. The first $1,000 is way harder than the next 10,000, because breaking through $0 to your first 1,000 is literally the absolute hardest part, because you're learning everything from scratch. You don't know what good engagement looks like versus bad, and you don't know if your product is actually converting. You're guessing at everything, but what I realized is once you hit that first $1,000 in revenue, something clicks, because you have proof the system works. You know that the pixel is gathering data, and you understand what a winning ad looks like versus a losing one. So getting from, let's say, $2,000 to $5,000, that becomes so much easier. And then going from $5,000 to $20,000, even easier. Because now you're not just learning, you're also scaling what already works. One of our coaches, Stallone, he built a store that made over $500,000 with one product. And you know what he tells our students? The hardest part wasn't going from 100K to 500K. He literally says the hardest part was getting that first week of consistent sales. To give you an idea, our data shows it takes our students, on average, about 3 months to hit their first $1,000. Once they hit that $1,000 mark, and then it takes as little as 2 weeks to go from $1,000 to $10,000. This is partly because it's only after month 3 that you become experienced enough. And assuming you've done the work, it's only after this time that you've tested enough products that actually work. You've dialed in your ads, you've spent time fixing your product pages, you've learned to read the data and take the right course of action to execute based on the data. So when you find that one product that hits, all that knowledge actually compounds. In fact, we consistently see that some students that hit 5 figures get to the 6-figure mark in no time. And most students who hit 10K quickly then scale to 6 figures within a month. So if you're struggling right now to get your first sales, I need you to hear this. So you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And the fact it's hard, it just means that you're still in the learning phase. And once you break through this phase, then everything speeds up. Now, knowing it gets easier is great, but you're probably wondering, how long does it actually take to get that first breakthrough? Well, here's reality number 2. Most students take months to get their first sale. And this is the question I get more than anything else. Hey Matt, how long until my first sale is going to come through? And I get it. I get why people ask this, because you see ads online promising 10K in 30 days, and then you think if you don't hit that, you're failing. But here's the actual timeline for most students who go on to build successful businesses. Month 1, you're learning the tech, you're setting up your store, you're launching your first product, and maybe you get a sale or 2, maybe you don't. And month 2, this is where you're testing, adjusting, and then you probably launch product number 2 in month 2. Now let's look at month 3. This is where the patterns start clicking. You understand what to look for, and boom, your first profitable sale may come through. And actually achieving the first sale is not a difficult process. We have so many students who achieve this within 3 months. It's actually finding a truly scalable winner that's harder, and that's where having consistency and perseverance actually pay off. So when we analyzed our most successful students, we found that 65% of them got their first sale between months 1 and 3. And 95% who stuck it out for 8 to 12 months, they went on to build profitable ecom stores. And I've got a student named MA, so he worked FIFO, 12-hour mining shifts in the middle of nowhere. So he told me the first 6 to 7 months were the toughest for him. I was testing, losing money, and at one point I was losing hope. In this situation, one of our mentors from the academy, Kingy, he kept asking him, how badly do you want it? Because Kingy could see that MA was doing the work, he just hadn't hit that breakthrough yet. And then around April, MA made his first real sale on this adjustable cane product. And last time we had a chat, he was doing $1,000 a day consistently. So if you get a sale in week 2, that's awesome. But if it takes you 3 months, know that's completely normal. You're on track. And the students who know this, they don't panic and quit in week 6 when they see some sort of guru on Instagram promising screenshots of $50,000 months in their first 30 days. They know that that's either fake or it's the top 1%. And to be honest, you're not racing against anyone else. You're just putting in your time to learn the skill. Okay, so it might take a few months, but what does that actually look like day to day? How much time do you have to put in? Here's reality number 3. You need around 2 to 3 hours every night for 3 to 6 months minimum. And I'm gonna be direct with you. Dropshipping is not passive income at the start. And I see people all the time thinking they're gonna set up a store, run some ads, and that money just pours in while they're sipping cocktails at the beach. And this is not how it works. For the first 3 to 6 months, you need to treat this like a part-time job. And I'm not talking about whenever you feel like it. I'm talking about scheduled, non-negotiable time blocks. And it could look like this, for example, product research, 10 to 20 minutes, store optimization, 15 to 30 minutes, monitoring your ads and making adjustments, 20 to 45 minutes, learning and implementing feedback from your mentors, about 20 to 45 minutes. And that's around 1.5 to 2 hours every single night. And that doesn't even count the initial setup weeks where you're building the store and learning the platforms. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Matt, I've got a full-time job, I've got uni, I've got kids. I don't have 2 hours a night. And look, I get it. But those who succeed make the time. They don't find it, they make it. So remember MA, the FIFO worker? So he was working 12-hour shifts in mining, and that's physically exhausting work. He'd come back to his apartment and then put in the hours on his business. And he told me that he cut everything else out of his life. He stopped hanging out with friends who weren't supportive. He stopped smoking. His apartment was just him and his laptop. And the only person he talked to regularly was Kingy, the mentor in our program. And before you think that sounds extreme, he's making $1,000 a day right now. And he's about to quit a 6-figure mining career because of the income that he built from his dropshipping store. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be that extreme, no, but you do have to be honest with yourself about your commitment level. I knew early on that freedom was the most important thing to me, so I optimized everything for freedom. And I realized that if I was going to be free, I needed to put intense work in for a set period of time. So I worked really intensely in the beginning, so later I could enjoy life. But that first period, it was a non-negotiable. And the students that tell themselves, I'll just work on it when I have time, they're the ones who are still in the same spot a year from now. The ones who schedule it like a part-time job for 6 months are the ones that build real income. Okay, so you're putting the hours in, you've got the right timeline expectations, but here's something that trips up literally everyone in the beginning. So this is reality number 4. Your first product will probably fail, and that's actually good. Most beginners, they think that finding a winning product is like winning the lottery. They think it's random luck, that you just keep pulling the lever until you hit the jackpot. But it's not random at all. It's literally a data gathering process. So every failed product is teaching you something critical about what works. And think of it like this. Product number 1, that's there to teach you all the tech setup and how to create ads. Product number 2, so this is going to teach you what good engagement looks like versus bad engagement. And let's say product number 3, this is really where the patterns start to click. So one of my students named Jaden, he went through 5 different stores before he found his winner. And even when he found it, he almost gave up on it. He tested this product for 3 days, and on day 3, he was ready to shut the store down. It was doing okay, but it wasn't profitable, so he was literally about to move on. But then he made some small tweaks to his website. He didn't change the ads at all. He didn't change his product. What he did was just adjust some things on his store, and then his conversion rate went from 1.49% to 3%. And he was able to make that small change because he had already failed with 5 other products. And it was exactly those failures that armed him with the knowledge to figure it out and figure out what to change on his website. And now he's done over $70,000 in sales. So here's how you need to think about this. Don't view your first products as failures. You want to view them as education. So you're literally paying to learn with these small ad budgets instead of paying for a $50,000 degree at university that probably won't help you make money anyway. So the students who understand this, they don't get discouraged when product number 1 doesn't work because they expect it. They're literally collecting data to make product 3 or product 4 their winner. Now, even when you're doing everything right, putting the hours in, testing products, learning from the data, there's still one more reality that catches everyone else off guard. Reality number 5 is that life will get in the way and you'll feel behind. And that's normal. And the truth is, real life doesn't stop just because you started a business. You'll have a great momentum week where you're crushing it, and then the next week, your car breaks down, or you'll get sick, work might get crazy, exams might hit, or there's a family medical emergency. And suddenly, you're a week behind on modules. That voice in your head starts saying, maybe I'm not cut out for this. So we ran a survey on students, and you know what came up over and over? I fall behind because of work. I fall behind because of uni. Family stuff happens and I lost momentum. But look, that's not a you problem. That's a human problem. The reality is life happens to everyone. And on top of life happening, the tech is also going to fight you as well. You might spend 20 minutes looking for a basic button that Shopify moved in a recent update. Facebook might restrict your ad account for absolutely no reason. And yes, this happens to almost everyone at some point. Apps you installed might break, they might change their pricing, your pixel might randomly disconnect. All these things can happen. But remember Jaden, who did $70,000 in sales? So his Facebook account had a spending limit on it for 2.5 months. He could only spend $50 a day, but one of our Ecom mentors, Vishal, helped him out and taught him how to create a new ad account without losing the pixel data. And you know what? Within 2 weeks, they removed his spending limit, and that's when he scaled. But imagine he just quit during those 2.5 months thinking, this must mean it's not working. Well, the successful students don't expect perfection, they expect obstacles, and when life hits, they don't quit. They just adjust the timeline. And some students take about 2 months to get their first sale. Some other students take 4 and some take 6. But what's important is they still build 6-figure businesses because they didn't let a bad week turn this into a permanent stop. So if you're feeling behind right now, you're not. You're just experiencing what every single successful student has experienced. The difference is that they didn't interpret an obstacle as a sign to quit. They interpreted them as a part of the process. Now, if you're watching this thinking, man, this is so hard, well, you're right. It is hard, but this is exactly why I'm excited that you learned all of this. Why these realities make you way more likely to succeed. Firstly, you're now in the top 5% of people who start dropshipping. Now that you know what to expect, you're not going to quit at the first obstacle because you literally expected these obstacles. And that alone puts you ahead of 95% of people. Secondly, this filters out your competition. While other people are chasing 10K in 30 days and quitting when it doesn't happen, you're playing the real game with real timelines. Which means when they drop out in month 2, you're still going in month 4. And by month 6, you're profitable while they're still on to their next shiny object. Number 3, after everything I've just told you, you're still here right now. And I bet you're thinking, yeah, I'm willing to put in, 3 to 6 months of real work for the chance to build an actual income. And that tells me something about you. That tells me you actually have what it takes. Because the truth is, dropshipping isn't easy, but it's one of the most realistic ways for someone with no experience and limited capital to build a real online income. And if you're willing to face the realities instead of chase the fantasy, then your chances of success will literally go through the roof. And you're not going to be the person who quits in week 6 because you thought it would be faster. You're going to be the person who's still here in month 4 when it clicks, and in month 6 when you're profitable, and then also in month 12 when you're thinking about quitting your job. There's a difference between knowing what to expect and being blindsided by reality. And if you're serious about building a real income and you're willing to put the work in, then our program gives you the exact step-by-step system. So you'll get the product research methods, the store frameworks, the ad strategies, and the mental support to literally guide you through every challenge and obstacle along the way. So if you want to learn more, then click the link in the description.